you're doing. Now it's going to be beautiful live stream. Very glad to have you all here. Officially, this is my first live stream with my face in it, and it promises to be beautiful. Yeah. Yo, fam. How are you all doing? Now, you're talking so much about the Elon Musk party, and I'm very glad to have each and every one of you all here. Trust you're doing great. Yep. In my opinion, this is one of the most interesting moves I've had to make. In the fact that, off of the fact that, you know, I've never done this before, but this is a new channel and we're growing, and these are new experiences. So, I mean, very open to enjoying this. So, welcome to the ride. This is the real Chimdi, and I'm very glad to have each and every one of y'all here. And I trust you're doing very great. Now, comment in the section, write down rather in the comment section, when you see this, and you could type a welcome or something, just chat in the welcome, and chatting in the welcome rather, and let me know what you'll think. Yeah, I'm really trying to get very comfortable with this. So please do all you can to just show your love and your support here. Now, folk, I would like to call you fam because this is a full-time journey, and it's going to be a very beautiful one. And we're going to be talking about Elon Musk and everything political. Basically, this is a political reaction on channel, and I promise it's going to be a very, very beautiful ride. I mean, a ride of growth. We'll really do stuff and enjoy ourselves while doing everything we've got to do to grow on this channel. So please ask for your support, and I just believe you're very, very, very supportive. Now we're talking about Donald Trump and the whole Elon Musk shenanigan. Now, to start with, I don't think a lot of people really understand the kind of person Elon Musk is, and that is why, in my opinion, he was strongly underrated. Except for one person who, did very well to take note of who he was particularly, and I'm talking about Candace Owens. Yes, from the get-go, Candace Owens was very, very, you know, kind of, she always suspected something was happening, but let's take it from the top. Now, Donald Trump was doing very well, and a lot of people had tipped him off to win in the last election, and everyone had a feeling that he was going to win, but most likely, there were chances of him also losing, off of the fact that, the left was coming on very strong against him, and there were two certain events that really, kind of set him up to win. I'm talking about when, you know, Hillary Clinton talked against the voters. I'm talking about when Joe Biden, called them garbage and all of that, and then the shooting. Yes, those were major, major, major points that really, catalyzed the whole system. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Elon Musk's support for Donald Trump and how the whole thing, went zero. That's the best way to put it. Now, folk, I'm really glad to have you here, but please don't forget to support the way you can. Now, this is crazy. Really, really crazy. You all still got to stay on the live, though. I've told you this is a new experience, and it's going to be a very beautiful journey. Yeah, we're back. Yo. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Now we're talking about Elon Musk. Don't mind the backdrop and all. It's just trying to get it set up. Now, folks, Elon Musk, in my opinion, is one of those people that the world never saw coming. Yes, they never really saw him coming, and I'm very impressed by the fact that he's been able to camouflage his personality. Yes, like I said before, Candace was the only person who kind of figured him out from the get-go, but the rest of the world had been very surprised, actually gladdened that he did support Donald Trump the way he did. But here's one thing nobody saw. In my opinion, like off of in hindsight, we now understand that his relationship with Donald Trump was a clearly business relationship. Now he knew clearly that if he had done nothing and made, just stayed silent the way he was, like let's backtrack a little bit. Before Donald Trump was tipped to win, before 70% of the world was sure Donald Trump was going to win, it was obvious that I'll take it again. Now I see one person here. Please do well to like and share support. Now, before Donald Trump was tipped to win, it's obvious that everybody was already loving on what he was doing and all. But the fact remains that nobody was sure he was going to win. And I must tell you that Elon Musk's support for him really pushed him up big time. You can't downplay that. So when people are coming for Elon Musk and speaking against him, the first thing that comes to mind is that people don't really understand how this thing works though. Exactly. They don't understand how this thing works. Please, I'm trying to just get my base and settle into all these things. So please do well to support this live video when you see it. Now, people really don't understand how politics works though. Politics has never been about the people. I mean, ideally, it's supposed to be about leadership, reining in things and making sure that, the government works for the people and is run by the people. But the truth is that, particularly for Elon Musk, it was always a business deal. Always a business deal. And I feel Donald Trump saw it that way. And that is why he put his foot down when there was need to put his foot down. In my opinion, Donald Trump is one of the smartest chaps, apart from being a billionaire. I mean, he's a businessman himself, and he had reason for running for the second time. Actually, Donald Trump understood and still understands the concept of, not losing. Same thing with Elon Musk. And so when Elon Musk had his, goal setting, he had targeted what he was going to do. He pitched the Doge to that's the Department of Government Expenditure to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump kind of had a lofty idea, so he decided to run with him. And if Donald Trump probably had seen Elon Musk for who he was from the get-go, I suppose he wouldn't have done that. But there's something about Donald Trump, especially if you've read his book, you get to understand that he's not one that really trusts people. So from the get-go, I'm sure he must have been very, skeptical of Elon's moves and all of that. But the truth remains that Elon has always been that kind of guy. And he will always be that kind of man, a businessman to the core. So the moment he lost his business concerns, first he was pushing for the electric vehicles, and most importantly, according to sources, very reliable sources, he wanted someone on the NASA position, that's the critical position in any SA. So you can understand that Elon at that point was not very happy with what Trump did to him. Trump literally kicked Elon out of the cabinet. Nobody talks about this. I mean, it was projected to look like Elon resigned, but no. From the moment I saw Trump giving that guy the key to the White House, like always he announced that day, in front of the pressmen, that Elon was always going to be a friend to the White House, a friend of the Trump government and all of that. I knew Trump had kicked him out. He was trying to just give him a soft landing and all of that. But here's the real deal. Elon was discontented with the fact that he was not going to be getting funding, and the EV bill was not going to be put in place. Don't forget, Elon has always been gaining from the government because he has strategic friendships in the left. Elon was never a conservative in the first place, and will never be seen and should never be seen as a conservative. And for the most part of last year, especially when he joined the MAGA cabinet, Candace Owens was always talking about it. She always had reason to disbelieve whatever Elon was saying, and in fact, that was one of the major reasons she lost hope in whatever Donald Trump was running with. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is just one man who I know has business concerns and all of that. But then I feel he just wanted to push for better for the American government. He wanted to see the American people do better. He wanted to see the government do better for the people or by the people. And that's exactly what he's doing. But when the tables turned, we've seen Elon's new nature and true nature rather, and it's obvious that this man is not here to serve the people. Sadly, the same Elon that was running with Donald Trump has now started his own party, the American Party. And that is such a genius idea in the first place. Now I want to state out very clearly from the get-go that the American Party will never win a presidential election. I don't ever see that happening. But that is a solid globalist move, and I don't know if anyone else has tried it out in the past. I've heard something like that earlier, several years back, like say 20, 30 years back, there were parties that try to kick off like that. But here is the truth. Elon's party clearly looks like a revenge plan. Exactly. Elon's party clearly looks like a revenge plan. And that's exactly what it is. It was born out of pride, in my opinion. It was born out of, desire to not necessarily want to see Americans do better, because anyone that wants to see America do better would most likely want to align with the Democrats, with the Republicans, sorry. So what we are seeing right now is a plan to kind of reduce the support for the reps, that's the Republicans. And it's obvious that it's happening right now in our very before. And it's a globalist move. This is not the first of its kind where we see billionaires. And this is going to start off a new system, in my opinion, where people who don't necessarily care about the growth of the government, who have certain ideals, who are trying to push certain perspectives, take up the reins of power because they have the money, because they have the purchasing power. Now, when you see several billionaires come together to form a political party, this is the kind of thing they form. Most likely, they will not make moves or rules that will support the government, that will support the ordinary man. Don't forget, Elon Musk is not the ordinary man. I know he pulled a lot of strings to make Donald Trump win in Pennsylvania. I mean, in all, he spent over $250 million for the government for Donald Trump, on behalf of Donald Trump. Generally, as we're talking about it, I suppose that's one of the many reasons he's very unhappy with Donald Trump. I mean, having to spend a lot of money and then not getting the bill passed that would support his electric vehicles and all of that. But it's important to know that even before Donald Trump's government, Elon has always enjoyed benefits from the American government. A lot of benefits. So starting up this political party, in my opinion, is one of the wrongest moves, and it's sad to see a lot of Americans, especially non-billionaires, support this. Now, with the American party, there is not going to be any better party than the Republicans right now. In my opinion, for the next 100 years, you're not going to see a party who's going to push to support our core American values. Now, the Democrats have done it, and they really took it far to the left. We have seen, there's an individual party, there's a Green Party, and all of that, but we're talking about the two main parties in the US. And the fact remains that Elon came camouflaged as a conservative. So most likely we are going to see people who support conservatism, who support, the right-wing movement and all of that. We're going to see those kind of people support Elon, or divide. It's going to divide. Basically, it's going to divide the support between the Republicans and the Democrats, and then Elon's party, the American Party. So in the coming days, we will not necessarily see, if this party flies, we're not necessarily going to see the American Party push for presidency or something, but most likely you're going to see a lot of moves that would kind of reduce or split the votes of Democrats, of the Republicans. And it's such a sad situation that, is happening in our time. And I'm seeing people really support and push for it. Elon is one guy I feel should have just stayed in his lane and probably, kind of just moved on with life. He's doing so well for himself. We've seen what he's doing with SpaceX and everything. And revenge is the worst thing to do when you want to play politics for the people. So it's obvious that this has nothing to do with the growth of America. Elon has always had an agenda, and he will keep pushing that agenda. But the thing is, he's going to bring men of like minds into his party, and it's really not going to be beneficial for the ordinary man. Trump has always been about the ordinary man. Trump will always be about the ordinary man. Now think about it. I don't think he's going to run a third time. So it's obvious that Trump is just pushing to see America great again. Now talking about immigrations, we can see what Trump has been doing immigration-wise. It's obviously not for the good of foreigners. We're talking about the day-to-day people. Now also with the passing of the big beautiful bill that actually caused this eruption between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, it's obvious that it's always been about the ordinary man. Now there's going to be more money in people's pockets and all of that, and this is what the billionaires do not want. So when I see ordinary people, ordinary Americans, the everyday Americans that live day to day on checks, that do 9 to 5s, that probably even couple it up with 2 or 3 jobs supporting Elon, it is really crazy in my opinion. You don't have to support. No one can tell you who to support, but the fact remains that we must always stay sensible, and that's the idea of this channel. Staying sensible and just making use of common sense. We support what is right, we push for what is right, and we speak up for the truth, and we speak the truth to power. The most annoying part, in my opinion, is seeing everyday people support Elon Musk. Elon Musk, for crying out loud, is a multi-billionaire. He's the wealthiest man on earth. So supporting a party like that will never make you wealthy. They will always push for, globalist ideas. For all I care, Elon Musk can build houses and hotels in space, in Mars, for all I care. And he wouldn't care about the common man. Elon Musk has passed the level, or the everyday mindset. And that is why I feel Donald Trump is really prolific. Because he's had all of that going for himself for years. I mean, as far as the 1990s, he was already a billionaire, and yet he still thinks for the common man. He's pushing ideals for the common man. The big, beautiful bill. Now, some people accuse him of, pushing his own goals and having the meme coin and other businesses by the side. And it really gets me annoyed sometimes. It riles me up because I wonder, not necessarily angry, but it just makes me wonder how people think. I mean, Donald Trump was a billionaire, multi-billionaire before he even became president, and he had a running business and several corporations to that. He had, business deals and relationships with people outside of, with Americans and non-Americans alike. A very wealthy businessman. So he came in as president, and it's beautiful to see what he's doing in politics. But Elon, that has really got me thinking is why so many Americans are not speaking to this. Yes, and it's really worrisome in my opinion. Amanda has this disloyal that went as far as calling Elon a pedophile, calling Trump a pedophile because he didn't support his ideals. And we'll get to that in a bit. Will be disloyal to his supporters, without thinking too much about it. Yeah, I'm talking about Elon. I mean, he left Trump's, the MAGA thing, that's the Make America Great Again situation, and talked about, spur of the moment action. I don't think this was something that was really premeditated. I mean, he just thought about it one moment and decided to, float the party, the American party. I mean, he can do that. He's Elon, the richest man on earth. But you know what's crazy? When we see ordinary, everyday people support this, and I wonder, how are these people thinking? Yeah, you call Trump a tyrant, you call him everything you want to call him, you all call him authoritarian and all, but we can see that he's pushing for the good of the everyday American. You cannot deny that, you cannot question that, and that's one thing I really admire about Donald Trump. He has also said it from the beginning. He was going to be tough on bills, and at some point, Elon actually supported him. Yeah, when they reduced some taxes and all of that, cut back taxes, Department of Government Expenditure. So they were really looking for ways to, cut down on government expenditure. So when it came to the big beautiful bill, that actually, kind of reduced the support on electric vehicles and, relied more on petroleum and oil and all of that. We can see how Elon, the backlash was solid against Donald Trump. And you know what's most interesting? A lot of billionaires are silent. You've hardly seen billionaires talk about this. In my opinion, some of them are really scared that Donald Trump, could, get his laser focus on them and, begin to investigate their businesses and all of that, because we've seen that happen. I won't even talk about that because actually classified information. But the fact remains that Donald Trump has always been pro-America, for America, and will always be for America. And Elon at this point cannot be trusted. A man who flips on people when they don't support his ideals, instead of just moving back, or probably just standing back and saying, I can no more wrong with this. Had to come on Twitter. I mean, he's the owner of X, by the way. He looked like a supporter of free speech in the first, by buying X and then unblocking Donald Trump and all, and then finally supporting him. It had always been a business deal. To start with, he knew that if he had supported, if Kamala Harris, had run or become president, he knew he was going to be messed up for life. He said that on Joe Rogan's show already. He knew it was going to be a big issue for him, and that's why he supported her, in my opinion. That's why he supported Donald Trump. And a lot of people are still speaking up against Donald Trump. I understand that you don't always have to share the same ideals or beliefs as everyone. I'm talking about for the day-to-day American who was crazy, who is still rather very, very unhappy about how values have been eroded. We're talking about, I don't want to talk about some certain things here, some sensitive talk. I mean, we're all entitled to our opinion, but basic core values of the American system, basic American values have really been eroded by the left. And it's beautiful to see America being restored to the strength it wants, to the beautiful country it was once, and the very much respected country. Talking about the relationship with Israel, how they've taken their stance with NATO and the 5%, for the defense and all of that, and seeing Trump really stand up for America, just to push America, make America great again. And we've seen Elon really push back. The pushback has been heavy. And I feel for some time now, Donald Trump has really been speaking against Elon. Mm, in my opinion, that's one of the most worried I've seen Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump is actually very worried. And it's shown. Donald Trump is shown is a guy that usually is very unmoved by stuff and really doesn't show it. But I've come to understand that, Donald Trump, reading his body language, is actually very uncomfortable with the current situation. I mean, he may not be moved because from what I can see from projections, it's obvious that the American Party, if it actually floats correctly, will never be never, gain presidency or run for key positions. But I mean, if they get core seats in the House, it's going to divide the votes for the Republican Party. It's going to divide the votes for the Republican Party. And it's obvious that, Elon is going to have a say and a stake in the government. And that's one of the most dangerous things that's going to happen. I know some people will be like, how will you say something like this when you have a former businessman, a one-time businessman? I won't even call him a former businessman. He still owns businesses, actually. The former businessman, that's Donald Trump, as president. Donald Trump is not a career politician. He just wants to see how America can do better, and it's obvious he's doing a very good work at it. I mean, he's a solid chap in my opinion. I don't call him a chap. He's no spring chicken and all of that. And when it comes to government, he's always been in the government, but probably from a very silent stance. And we have facts to prove that he's always supported politicians and all of that, bankrolled a lot of government events and all. If you read his books, you understand what I'm talking about. But here's what I'm saying. Donald Trump is one of those men who have really, really stood the test of time, business-wise, so be able to steer a country to greatness, just like we've seen him do with America and all of that. And it's amazing to see that he's been attacked by a man that was once his friend. I remember when he was talking on Hannity, and he was like, talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk said it very clearly that these people want to create a bridge between us. They want us to have issues, and they're already reporting issues of us having problems it's obvious. Whenever I think about this, it just riles me up, because I see obviously that Elon knew what he was doing for the most. Elon knew exactly what he was doing. Elon Musk knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to protect his interests, like I said before. It has always been about business. It's always been a business deal for Elon Musk. Really sad situation. Very, very sad. Really sad. And this life is going to get better. Yeah, we'll be doing this back to back to back. So I trust you'll, do well to support. And I'll still be putting out a lot of stuff. But yeah, let's talk about the Epstein list a little bit, because I mean, it's one of those issues that has been really trending. To think that Elon Musk also brought that to the fore by accusing Trump of being on the Epstein list. And that's crazy, because when you hear Candace Owens talk about it, it looks like Elon knows a lot. And obviously, it seems like Elon knows a lot. But that could just be Elon trying to rouse the rumble, make some noise, just the way he has been doing with the American Party. Elon is one of the smartest guys. And although he's for free speech, he claims to be for free speech, Elon controls the debates. I mean, if he's the owner of X, then for all things not good, Elon can put out whatever he wants to put out, and nobody can control him. Now the question is this: who controls, or who ensures, rather, who regulates X? And this is where it gets a little dicey. Anybody can put out whatever they want to put out now with Trump being on seat. But the fact remains that there needs to be regulation. So some way, somehow, Trump needs to come for Elon. And it's going to happen, because Trump is not a simple man. So I'm just giving my predictions right here. You're going to see Donald Trump really speak against free speech. Not necessarily free speech, the abuse of free speech. It's going to happen, and it's going to be a very interesting one. And we've seen the DOGE, that's the monster, according to Trump, that Elon created, They've decided to come for Elon, and I believe a lot of things will be discovered, talking about tax evasions and a lot of unsavory stories. It's going to be a beautiful one. I mean, it's a long ride, and I was telling someone not too long ago that with Trump being on seat, there's going to be a lot of things to talk about. It's going to be a beautiful, probably bumpy ride, because Trump is a man who doesn't stay away from controversy, and I really like how he's handled Elon Musk's new party, the American Party. Now, I want to put this out here. Trump acts like he doesn't care, but the fact remains that Trump is terribly concerned. He is terribly concerned. Yo, folks. So I'd like to know what you all want to know in the comment section. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comments. And trust me, it's going to get better from here. It's always going to get more beautiful. I mean, points better aligned. But I just thought to do this. And this is actually my first time here as on the live. Totally unscripted. And it's going to get better and better. And the next time we're going to be talking about the Epstein list. So please let me know what you think in the comment section. And tell me whatever you think. And off of there, we're going to generate our discussions. Until our next clip, keep staying sensible. Until next time I come on live. Peace out, folk.